Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
Good morning. So yesterday morning we got up, and for the first time this winter the entire lake was frozen over. It's an amazing sight to see. This area here behind me has been frozen for at least 3 weeks, but we had a huge open water there even just a few days ago, and a huge piece of open water out there. So we're really happy to see it's completely frozen over, because what was happening was the high winds were coming in, hitting the water, creating waves, and then even if, you know, ice had formed, it was just bashing that ice away. And now that it's completely iced over, the wind just comes and skids along top of the ice, so it no longer breaks up the ice. So progress, we're super happy about. So a couple of precautions we're taking. Obviously, ice safety is very important. One, we're wearing full flotation suits. Number two, we have ice picks with us. I have mine here. Pete's got a different style, but these, when you stab them in, the little cover goes away, and it's almost like a nail, and that helps you get out if you were to fall in. What people forget is when you fall in, it pushes water onto the ice, which then freezes and becomes extremely slick, and they can't get out of the hole that they created. So with these two ice picks, you just pick your way out of there.
Yeah.
And Pete's are very similar. So I wouldn't go onto ice, thick ice, or any kind of ice whatsoever unless I had ice picks with me. Another thing we're gonna do is, if we end up going further where we know it's deep water, right here it's shallow enough that if we fell in, we'd be up to our waist at the most. We'd be able to stand. But if we're getting into much deeper, we're gonna take the flat bottom canoe with us and have that between us, so if the ice were to break, at least we have a floating canoe to hang on to or get into. And then the last thing we'll do is we have 100 feet of rope there, and we'll just have a piece of rope as we walk out, something to pull on to get back in. So that's good. It's really good. I'm gonna measure it with my fingers to get an estimate, but it says my tip of my finger to my wrist, that thick. So right here it's a good 5-6 inches. Not worried about walking here. We're gonna do another couple of steps out. We'll grab the rope in the canoe and we'll just start stepping out and measuring every 10 feet. You still not 100% sure about ice, Lando? I don't blame you, buddy.
It's good, eh?
It's awesome.
It's essentially safe to walk closer to shore on both sides, and especially where the wind didn't break through a few weeks ago. That slush froze completely, so you're a good 6 inches of hard ice.
All right, we just couldn't wait. We drilled a hole and got our line in there just to try it out. But we have an ice fishing hut we're gonna set up once we get a chance, and some chairs, and we'll do some real ice fishing.
Well, it's a beauty that we're finally able to come out here and ice fish. Right now we're just kind of testing the gear, not really planning on catching something, although it'd be nice. But now that we know that we can walk all the way to the other side and ice, the ice is thick enough to support our weight. That whole area has been pretty good for fishing for the past couple years, so that'll probably be where we'll try out next.
December and January so far has been an up and down ride on a freeze and thaw roller coaster. It seems like every morning we wake up to a new weather surprise. Today's surprise was a fresh blanket of deep snow covering the entire area. And so we decided to shovel off the roof and decks to relieve some of the weight.
and I put on our snowshoes and walked across the lake. Last night we got 10 or 12 centimeters of snow. Kind of added to this ice. It was really fun to go walking around in the snowshoes on. It definitely helped us not sink in as far. But we walked across here, and around back there is a little inlet of water as well that's been frozen for the longest time of what we've seen with the drone. It hadn't cracked open at all from wind or anything. So we just tested walking across the center of that and a little around the area there. It was all solid, and the only issue is it's kind of like +1 or +2, and it will be over the next week. So this snow is just turning into a lot of slush on top of the ice.
Another day, another surprise, as the temperatures rose sharply overnight, melting the snow into a thick layer of water over the ice. At this pace, the likelihood that the lake would freeze to a thickness safe for us to cross was still 2 to 3 weeks off. And so we begin doing inventory on our supplies and making arrangements with our Uncle Tim for a potential fuel and grocery drop with his helicopter.
So last day or so we've had a real rise in temperatures around here. We're taking advantage of this nice balmy weather, and we're just gonna pump up some water to our water storage container in the shop. We've now used that. It took about 2 weeks to empty, so it looks like we'll have to fill it twice a month throughout the winter.
It's nice with that little pump we got how fast we can actually fill this, because I mean it's only been going for about 10 seconds. It's already quarter full, and it takes about 2 weeks to empty, and that's for dishes, you know, flushing, showers, everything. So at least we know it's always easy to get water.
All right, so I'm just going through inventory of what we have left over, and we have a lot of meat, veg, and fruit. Plenty of that. The only stuff that I'm kind of running out of, or I have run out of, is milk, cheese, and I'm getting pretty low on eggs. I'm just gonna figure all this out and then make a little shopping list for Frederick and William, who are coming up with the helicopter, so that can get us through one more week before we can get out with the snow dogs.
Okay, well, here's an update on the fuel situation and the lake. So the lake is still not frozen. In fact, it's just been a up and down ride. Some days it's covered in snow and it looks like it's freezing. Then it'll get warm again and it'll melt. And right now on that side, which is the way we need to go if we're to get off the island by snowmobile, it is actually open water again. Now today's supposed to get cold in the next week, but you can't safely get out there until it has at least a couple weeks of cold weather. Very, very cold weather. So we are getting low, very low on fuel. Right now we're just prepping these fuel cans. And since we can't get out of here by snowmobile and we don't have a hovercraft or a fan boat in our family, my brother, my older brother, and a couple of my brothers have a helicopter, and they're going to be coming in tomorrow and picking up fuel cans. They can do about 4 at a time. It's a Robinson 44, an R44. A bit of history on the helicopter. Way back in the day, back in the mid-2000s, me and my brothers all worked together. We still do in different capacities, but we went in together to buy an R22 so that we could all get our license. And so we spent many hours flying the Robinson 22, which is a small 2-seater. And then we upgraded to an R44, and then some of us, you know, pursued continuing flying the helicopter. Others, like me, I kind of went a different direction with our travels as a family over the last 7 years, so I didn't have time. So I kind of got out of the helicopter deal, but I'm thankful my older brother and some of my other brothers have kept it up, and they've still got it. So they're coming in, and it's either going to be Uncle Tim or it's going to be his sons that were here a couple of weeks ago helping us with the docks. And they're going to pick up 4 at a time, and we'll take it out to the marina, land in the marina parking lot, fill up the fuel, and bring those back, grab 4 more, go get more fuel, and so on. And once we fill 8, we'll be good until freeze up. So that's the theory, that's the plan. and that's what we're doing. Right now we're just prepping a landing zone over on the main dock for them to come and land. If the ice is, we have a section of frozen ice, but it doesn't, I just don't feel comfortable. They said if they have a good even 6 inches over the whole area, they can land the helicopter right on the lake. But I don't think it's thick enough right now. We're gonna measure it in the morning. It'd be great if they could land right here, but if not, they're on the main dock. So let's go up there and finish scraping it off. The boys have been shoveling off like a foot of snow and ice and slush, and we'll prep that for tomorrow morning. All right, so there's what we call the main dock. It's a big, huge wooden dock. We've cleared off a section, but it's snowing again. We're supposed to get, 15 centimeters, a bunch of inches of snow overnight. So it'll all get covered. We'll probably hit it again in the morning before the helicopter comes. But we're making sure there's no loose debris there. We're removing that rope and a few other things, and then we'll be good to go. This weather is supposed to be kind of nasty tonight, but it's supposed to clear up by 5 a.m. tomorrow, and the heli's coming in around 11. So I think everything will be good. As you can see behind me though, the lake, which was completely iced over just yesterday, it had a thin layer of ice over the whole thing. The wind has come up and broken all the ice away, so now you've got big waves again, which is absolutely crazy for this time of year. All right, that's the first time having the snow dogs on the ice. So far so good. We haven't gone through. We just punched a bunch of holes in here, and it's a good 6 inches everywhere. And so I'm packing down an area here which potentially could be a landing zone for the helicopter tomorrow. One here, one there, and then we always have the dock at the other side of the island. So just gonna keep going till it's well packed. Packed down a pretty good area here. It brings up a bit of water because we've had warm weather, but tonight's supposed to be cold, so in theory what we've brought up to the surface, packed down area, will freeze rock solid overnight, and then we can land here. All right, so the day has arrived. We just heard from Uncle Tim that the helicopter is on its way, so that's exciting. This area that we patted down with the snow dog yesterday has frozen solid, so I think the conditions are great. It's intermittent cloud, well, pretty heavy cloud cover right now, but it's nothing that would interfere with flying, and a little bit of snow, which doesn't matter. So the last 2 attempts we had once a really low ceiling, so they couldn't fly, and then we had the threat of freezing rain because it was warmer temperature, which is not good. So we're thankful today's a good day, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting in our supplies. All right, we hear the heli in the background, so it's obviously up to the pilot where he lands, but we'll just give him some guidance. So obviously he's going to circle around the island, take a look at the different options. We do have a dock that he possibly could land on. He's done that before. We have the big dock down there, which the boys have shoveled off, which is an option he's going to go look at now. And then we have this, and we've sent them a picture with the measuring tape showing the thickness of the ice. So it's always up to the pilot, not us. So let's see what he chooses. It's only been a couple of days.
This way to get groceries delivered, huh?
Peter, nice to meet you. Hello.
I'm Peter Senior.
Peter Senior, nice to meet you. I'm Kyle.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. How you guys doing out here? Oh, hey, buddy.
We're doing great. It's a weird feeling being isolated from the rest of the world, but
Oh, well,
it's a new thing for us.
yeah, the weather this year is just unreal. It's been so warm.
I got to take the controls.
Nice.
So
And you still made it. It's unbelievable.
yeah.
It's tricky.
You only need 8 total, so not all of them. There's 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's it.
The toes are dug in. That front rotor can get pretty low to the ground. So everyone thinks, oh, I'll come directly at it. But usually the lowest point is the very front of the helicopter. So if we go off on a 45, I can see you, you can see me. And then you're in a safe area. Again, at first we're going to be doing the fuel, not much going on, but once we start doing the trips, just kind of the little flights around here, we'll probably just leave it running and I'll get you guys to kind of swap. That's some more safety equipment on board. We do have sat tracking with us, so it's leaving breadcrumbs everywhere we go. In the event of an issue, everyone back home could end up trying to find us, right? It would kind of show where we are, where we last were. Maybe we end up having to land in the bush, you know, at least someone kind of knows where we are. And if not, if that doesn't work, we also have what's called an ELT, or emergency locator transmitter. That's on board the aircraft in the event of an accident, or we put it on manually. Over time, it's going to send out our signal, and we'd probably have a C-130 Hercules or a Griffin flying over, dropping SAR guys or some stuff for us.
That won't be too bad.
Yeah, but the hope is we never have to use that. Again, that's why we bring the sat tracking, or we have the sat tracking. That's why as well we have an emergency kit, a first aid kit, and we have an accident saw on board, all behind the passenger seats. Yeah, so if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead, we'll get fired up. We'll head over to the boat launch and then we'll start doing our thing. Okay, clear. All right, so the start light went out, we have oil pressure. At that point, went alternator clutch on. RPM setting a little bit high, but once the clutch starts to engage and those blades start to spin, it'll bring that RPM back down. So, blades are engaged.
Clouds are mostly blown away. It's a beautiful day for doing this. Pete went with the helicopter on the first ride, and they're now filling up the jerry cans. And then I believe he's going to stay there while the pilot flies in with 4. We'll offload him. He'll go back, pick up the other 4 full jerry cans, and pick up Pete, and then come here. And then he's going to take the boys out for a spin. They might go, depending on how the weather is roundabout, they're going to just fly around the lake. They're going to look for a land path out of here, which is kind of a neat project they've been looking on GPS and figuring out. And who knows? And then they got to head back. So Dan and Frederick are inside having a steak. Dan's always like, let's have a steak together anytime you're up here. So they're doing it. They're having a steak, having a coffee together while the helicopter's off doing its thing. And I just wanted to say to Fred, thanks for doing all that for us. He went out and got groceries a couple of days ago for us, and we forgot some items, so he went back and got more. So thanks for flying in the groceries. And also the folks at the marina, Chris and Kendra, thanks for helping us out fueling up those jerry cans. So it's been a real team effort, but we have a great family and a great community of people around us that keep us comfortable and safe out here on the island.
Going out there?
It's going well, just fuel really.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'll get the other, we're going to take 8 out. Okay. Just leave them here, we'll start with 4 in the helicopter at a time.
Chris and Kendra at the marina were standing by to fill up the fuel cans. They had also been holding mail and packages for us for the last month or so.
And then I'll give you the eggs and salsa too.
Awesome.
And then Dan skidoos right out to his island.
Okay.
But he said through the Narrows the far side of the Narrows is sketchy, and he doesn't stop when he gets the other side. He just scoots straight across to his island. But I imagine they're still open water out there.
Yeah, it's open water all past around the island, everywhere there. It's wide open.
That's crazy.
All right, so we're getting fuel here. I'm gonna stay across here at the marina. Chris is back there filling up all 8 jerrys. We'll take 4 at a time, and then I'll just wait for the helicopter to come back while we're fueling the other 4 jerrys. And then we'll have all our fuel. We also got some packages that have been waiting a while. And Chris and Kendra, our friends at the marina, have been hanging on to them, and super nice. It's great when you're in a situation like this where you can't get out of an island to be able to have a helicopter come in with some fuel and groceries, and then have some great people at the marina hanging on to our stuff and ready with some gas. So this is a unique situation. It really just adds to the adventure. It was already something new for us to be going at the cabin all winter. Obviously we barely finished getting everything prepared before the snow set in, and then of course the ice didn't even freeze over most of the lake. But they're saying around here you can take a sled out, snowmobile, and go across most of the lake around here. There's just an open section in the middle, so that's been our difficulty. But hopefully in the next few weeks it'll freeze up, or a week, then we can get out by easier means. But yeah, this is an option using a helicopter like this. The pilot was saying they take supplies out to some islands that have the same situation, but they can't get out at certain times of the year, and they'll drop off groceries and other things by line or by net, and also by landing on the ice if they can do that. So it's something anyone can do. You don't have to own the helicopter. It's just convenient that our family back home also owns this helicopter and can send it out to us when we're in need.
Beautiful. I'll take 2 on this one, and then we'll do 3 and 3.
With an empty seat in the helicopter, Chris and Kendra at the marina decided to hop in for a ride out to the island and back. By the smiles on their faces, it looked like they had an awesome flight, and it was wonderful to see them again. Now that the work was done and the groceries, fuel, and mail had been delivered, it was time to have some fun.
What a machine. That thing's amazing. Man, I miss flying.
What an exhilarating feeling, flying high above the forests and lakes. The view from up here is spectacular and gives us a whole new perspective of the area.
How's it going?
Good.
All right. So I guess you're the last two then, eh? Or
Yeah.
right on. We're just gonna pull back just a little bit.
Oh my goodness, what a cool.
Crazy, dude. So big open section here on the far side, another one. Again, we got this little bit of a snowfall here, but you can kind of see kind of the hardening Yeah, I think it'll come down to
That was incredible. I'm so excited about that.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that was cool.
You see some moose tracks while you're at it?
No moose.
Any antlers?
No, we looked. I asked him. I was like, "Do you see any moose?"
Yeah, none today, but in general, usually,
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and like one of the jobs we do actually with the M&R is moose survey.
Yeah, okay.
So they'll have different grids.
Yeah.
Usually it's like 2 or 3 mile, probably a couple mile, and you just sit there and you usually try and figure out how many there are, and then you go back on the line and keep going, count
That's a
how many
fun
in the
job.
block. Yeah, tons of fun.
Just gotta get another 66 next. Yeah, well then they got one more seat.
Fred, thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
Thanks for having me again.
That's
Ready? See you in a week or two. Oh yeah. Gotta come up and jump in the boot. Jump in the water, eh? Awesome.
Got a hole in the ice and hop in. Oh, for sure. We've done it a few times, sitting there as long as we can.
Yeah.
All right, we've got our fuel. We had a lot of fun. We've got some Christmas presents and mail, and it's just like Christmas all over again. They just took off. They're heading back. Kyle and Frederick, thank you for coming in today. That was an absolute blast.
what a relief. So excited, and again, thanks Frederick,
And-
for coming up here, and
Uncle Tim for arranging it all.
yes, thank you. Big thanks to Uncle Tim.
So that was the goal of the day, to get a whole new fresh supply of fuel. So we feel very relieved. We now have a month's worth of gas for the Jenny, and now we can do all the work we need to do. We're using more fuel and more battery than we expected because we're doing a lot of in-studio work, but it's great. So what a relief, and no more rationing. The last couple of days we were just being, you know, very, very careful with our power usage, but we don't have to worry too much now.
And in the meantime, we'll see you down the road.